everyone, this is Steve Weintraub with Collider. We are here at the Cinema Center at the Toronto International Film Festival. I want to give a huge thank you to Range Rover Sport for being our sponsor and allowing us to cover all sorts of movies at TIFF, like Young Werther. How are you guys doing?
We're doing great. Thanks for having us.
I really want to start with, and I'm so sincere when I say this, you were my big surprise of TIFF. Because I watched a lot of movies before I got here. I wasn't sure what I was going to get. I loved your movie. It's really so good. And I trust me, I do not say this about everything. But everyone watching, most people won't have seen it. How have you been describing the film?
It's a contemporary adaptation of a 250-year-old German tragedy that we've turned into a light romantic comedy.
Okay. You're not wrong. Yeah. Everything is accurate. For the two of you, what was it like reading this script for the first time? And what was it about the roles that said, oh, I need to do this?
The script was just so witty and intelligent and fun. All this man. For me, although it's obviously not an original, it felt so original. I didn't expect this to be the adaptation. And it just seemed like such a fun character to play. I felt like I knew how I could get into it. I was, when you read something like, I know I can do this. I can bring out my inner child. I can bring out my inner something. And I really wanted to be a part of it from the beginning.
I read the script and like I often do, which is sometimes wise, sometimes unwise, which is not to look at whoever's involved, but just to read the script itself first to sort of just get, what the heck is this thing? And I read it and loved it, thought it was some of the best dialogue I'd read in a very, very long time. It seems like it's sometimes a lost art. I don't know that it's lost. It's just a really tricky art to write slightly elevated, clever, witty dialogue that sounds realistic, that you can imagine saying, but that is somehow better than life. And so it was a joy to read. And then in looking at it, I went, wait, José, I've known this cat for 20 years. And so it was
Did you read the script without knowing?
Yeah, which is sort of absurd. And then I went back and I was like, this is such a good script. And then I went, wait, this is José's script. And I was even more doubly pleased to not only have, read it and loved it, but for it to have been this wonderful surprise that this wonderful person had written such a glorious piece.
I want to give you another compliment on the script, which is I love that Patrick's character, who is your fiancé, is not written like an a-hole. They're all good people. Well, maybe Werther is a little bit questionable, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we're all just human beings fumbling our way through life and trying to connect, fall in love, make friends, and I don't know. I feel like one of the things that drew me to the novel originally, and then was so fun to play with in the film, was the that idea that everyone, no one's really a villain, in your extended circle. There's. I know there are villains out there, mustache twirling maniacs, but I feel like day to day people are doing their best and trying to be a human being in the world.
And I think a lot of the scenes and dialogue at times felt elevated, but all the characters are very much grounded in something true. And I felt every day on set we were kind of interrogating what truth out of these characters and the situations and the complexities of love and lust and life and friendship, I guess.
So one of the things about this is you are given, I'm going to use the term, a ton of dialogue.
Yep.
This is one, and so it's, what is it like trying to learn all of, I just butchered the way I wanted to ask this question. You had to learn a ton of dialogue and deliver a ton of dialogue. So I'm just curious, what is it like preparing for a role like this where you're doing it in an accent, it's a ton of dialogue, and it needs to sort of be comma perfect to make it what it needs to be?
Yeah, I think for me, there were certain lines that I would just have to say over and over and over again, especially the stuff during the waltz, when I was having to do a waltz and say José's dialogue. But it was sort of repetition so that when I got there, I wasn't scared of it. And I wanted it to come out of my mouth so quickly, completely effortlessly. So it was just a lot of work. I just did the work in advance so that I could get to set, forgot I'd done any work and just try and be as present as possible.
we're here at TIFF, which is my favorite festival. You get to premiere here. You shot here. The movie takes everything about this city is, like it's married to this film. What was it like filming here, and what is it like premiering here?
I think José.
I mean, premiering at TIFF is like a dream. I want to say a lifelong dream, but it's really, I've lived in the city for 20 years now, and for every one of those 20 years, a few interruptions during a worldwide pandemic, but for the most part, I've been coming to TIFF every year and watching movies and being in the audience, and to be premiering here is just, it's unbelievable. It's a thrill. And shooting in the city, I mean, Toronto is always in films, always in shows, but very rarely playing itself. And it was such a joy to work with our incredible cinematographer, Nick Haight, and our production designer, Kara Vernon, and our costumer, the whole team. They're all based in Toronto. We had an incredible Toronto-based crew, and it was so much fun, I think, for everyone, getting to show off the city the way it deserves to be seen.
So I asked this question of everyone who's been coming in this year, because it sometimes leads to good answers. Sometimes. When you think back on the shoot, what day did you have circled in terms of, I can't wait to film this? And what day was circled and you were like, how the F are we going to film this?
For me, the one that I was so terrified of, I had to speak it as a baby chimpanzee. I had this whole speech, and I was so nervous. Like, how do I play a baby chimpanzee without just looking completely ridiculous? So yeah, I was watching all these sort of like chimpanzee shows, and I was like, I'm not sure this is the way forward. I was worried about realistic baby chimpanzee, but also make her. It leads to our first kiss. So it was like, how first kiss? Yes, first kiss in the movie. Yeah. So I was like, it has to be ridiculous, and that was just a hard line to toe. Like, how do you make her fall in love, or like break that barrier with you by doing the most ridiculous, embarrassing, potentially thing ever? That was the hardest one. And then what I was looking forward to most was
ice cream bars. Be honest.
Oh yeah, I love ice cream.
Be honest.
But it
This
sent me
man loves
crazy.
ice.
I love ice cream.
You gave yourself such a stomach ache on
What's the name
Gelato
of that
Day.
Gelato place?
Oh, Bar a Pay. And I feel
Bar a
like
Pay?
you had like gelato, there was some sort of gelato related injury or something.
The medic had to come to my trailer because I had 45 gelatos, and I swear to God, I was there. I was like, swimming up the head. My head was spinning.
This is not funny.
It was death by
It was
gelato.
a medical emergency.
I know.
Wait, I don't. How did you have 45 gelatos?
Because we were shooting this scene, and the thing was, I did something stupid at the beginning. They were so good, I just started eating them.
Oh no!
It was rule number one. It was rule number. I was. This
He
is
can't
like
resist gelato. He has a
can't.
real gelato weakness.
I do.
No,
And he
but-
was
but-
surrounded by ice cream bars and gelato this entire show.
But first of all, this is not his first movie. He knows do not eat on the first take.
I remember my first film from time to time was with like Maggie Smith. And it was like,
Dame Maggie Smith to you.
She was like,
Maggie
don't
Smith.
eat the chocolates. And I was like, of course, 16 years old, I'm going to eat the chocolates. I just get chocolates, like ate them, and then I felt so sick. I should have learned this lesson on my first ever film.
And didn't. And then had to have a medic call because he lost sight.
I literally lost my sight.
Yeah.
I was like,
It was-
guys, I can't see. I can't focus. I can't focus
Yeah.
on anything.
Yeah.
I think
Don't
that-
eat
that
45
volume
gelatos.
of sugar in your
Yeah,
body
yeah.
all at once.
Clearly.
That's the power of Bar a Pay gelato.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shouts to Bar a Pay.
What I was most looking forward to was the scene at the end at the law gala, where it just everything kind of heightens and get bigger, and he gets quite drunk. I was really looking forward to that whole scene. Yeah, go on. What was it?
Oh, I was most nervous about the fireworks because I am a mom and an anxious person.
And I'm very clumsy.
And well, I'm very clumsy. It was also to me. I mean, there were fireworks. We're under the Gardner Expressway. It was very stressful, very very stressful.
You were surprised
time for
that
me.
we were actually going to be shooting real fireworks at each
Yeah,
other.
but nobody died that I know of.
That's right.
I heard there was an accident on the expressway.
Yeah. No, everybody's fine.
Okay.
Before you answer, I just realized, do you have like an honorary key for the city because of Scott Pilgrim?
Oh, interesting.
I mean, I don't have an honorary key.
That's bullshit.
I am.
Oversight, yeah.
Yeah.
I have. I don't have a ticket.
Keys. You
I
don't
don't
have
have
keys.
keys. I don't
Yeah.
have any keys. I don't have tickets to places. Are city tickets a thing? Should
Listen.
be. I haven't gotten a free Presto card.
Yeah.
No. I'm a daughter of this city, and nobody has given me neither a key nor a Presto card.
We're going to call the TTC as soon as this interview is over and get you one Presto card.
What is Presto?
It's the Metro card. It's for the streetcars and what have you.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, anyway, love a streetcar.
Name to desire.
I think the scene that I was most nervous about filming was the scene that was this shot that the cinematographer and I had designed and didn't tell anyone else about that it was that it was going to be this glorious, beautiful one shot of this scene with all this conflict and tenderness and outside the hotel when they.
Yeah.
Anyway, there were a number of events that day. Production, things go wrong. And at the end of the day, we're like, oh yeah, we're just gonna knock out this 2.5 minute single.
It's like a 4-page scene.
With
it's like a 4-page scene
all these
with
drunk stag dudes, bachelor parties trying to walk through the scene.
Yes, there were some.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't
Some
shoot this in
gentlemen
one shot, man.
having
You just give up. This
it's
is
3 a.m. and we can't get a lockup on this street.
All
and
the actors looked at me and I was like, yeah, I think it's gonna be fine. I think it's gonna be fine. Let's give it a try. Anyway, our operator Sasha came in and really saved us that day and really saved that scene.
Yeah.
And then the one that I was looking forward to the most. Actually, I think it might have been the Werther and Paul in the hotel during the rainstorm. There's just something like I'm a very nervous, anxious person much of the time, and I don't know. I think that scene always reminded me of the way my brother and I would react, like in a thunderstorm when we were kids. And there's just something about that it just really was me a lot of fun.
I am always curious about the editing process because it's where it comes together. So you get in the editing room, you have a cut that you're happy with, you do the friends and family screening. What ended up changing as a result of that screening?
We went in with a really really clear editing plan for the movie. We worked with an incredible editor, Sandy Pereira. A good friend of mine is a guy named Matthew Hannum, who's an editor who he'd seen the script for years, and I talked at length with Hannum and with Sandy about the cut, and really, aside from, it was really just trims and tightening. Like after those first few cuts, there weren't major scene reorderings. There were things that we needed to figure out along the way, but we got pretty close in that first cut. I wish there was more drama to it, but
I also have to say, I think it also is a testament to the fact that it was a very well polished script, and I think so often things that have to happen in the editing room happen because scripts are not necessarily finished, or people don't agree on what the script is or what it needs to be or where the characters are. And I think José's clear vision from the beginning and how much time he'd spent with the story and the characters meant that we could step into a really well-realized vision of what we were all coming together to make, which is not always the case. And it's usually when it's not. Yeah, exactly. It's a tricky tone to match. And so I think that is also an argument for why it's such a good script, is that it wasn't an editing process that required we got to rethink this whole thing.
Well, I'm going to say that the reason this movie works so well for me is your two performances and the dialogue. This movie lives and breathes by the dialogue. And if you don't believe me, you have about 1,700 lines or maybe 2,000. It's a lot. So it either that's the deal breaker. Not to put myself in the interview.
No, but it's what he's
keep going.
Yeah. But it's what José said to me before we started. He was like, it has to be nailed. It can't. You have to nail that dialogue.
But even, in those early rehearsals, you guys had your scripts there, and just looking at the work you had both done in advance, I could see every line annotated and worked out, and then just I don't know, I feel like you found that rhythm really quickly together, and I don't know, it's just
she's a great scene partner, so she made it easy for me.
Let's just talk real quick, because I'm almost out of time, about your hatred of Paul Anka.
Yeah.
So, speaking of national treasures, or those who should be considered national treasures. We were late today because of Paul Anka.
That's right. Yeah.
And so now, I mean, Paul Anka, wherever you are, I'm coming for you.
Wow.
No, I'm not. I might be.
Alison Pill, Paul Anka. Alison Pill, Paul Anka, grudge match, cage match, death match?
Who can say?
You heard it here first. Alison Pill is going to murder Paul Anka.
I'd watch it.
National treasure, to be
Right.
clear.
National treasure.
We actually love him.
Yeah.
Before I run out of time, I do have to ask you an individual question, if you don't mind. I'm a huge fan of The Sandman, huge fan, and you are part of the additional episodes, because it's not season 2, it's additional episodes.
Apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So, what can you tease about joining that universe and the character you play?
So I play the Chlorokin, and he's a really fun character to play. I had so much fun with him. And Skelly was brilliant as Nuala. There's not much I can say because I've never been on a project where they're so secretive and they make you sign so many things. But what I can tell you is the world building is brilliant. It's gone up a level even from series 1, and all the additional cast is fantastic. Tom is brilliant. It was amazing work. Tom Sturridge is a friend of mine. I've had a movie here at TIFF with him before, but he transforms. He literally floats across that set. I don't even know where he doesn't hang out. He's a really friendly guy. We go to the pub and watch football every weekend. But on set, he's nowhere, and he just appears on set and he just like floats across set. And he really has a great presence. And they have a great supporting cast. And it's dark, and it's entertaining, and it looks incredible. So I hope you guys like it when it comes. But it's looking great.
I'm not worried. But one of the things, if you don't mind me continuing, is that a lot of the actors that do an episode, they do one episode. Like a lot of the characters are 1 or maybe 2. Is that the case with your character?
I'm in 7 episodes.
Get the F out of here. Well, first of all, that was not the reaction I expected because no one, like barely.
Yeah, I think, yes. I mean, I don't know what that tells you about how they're going to tell the story across these episodes. And I'm not allowed to say much about the story, but I am in 7.
Yeah, well, first of all, congrats for you because the show is spectacular.
Thank you.
If you guys haven't watched this,
I loved it, and I'm very excited.
She told me to do it.
Is that true?
Yeah, she told me to do it.
I did, and I helped you with your accent. Don't worry about it.
2 national treasures. Right?
I had no idea, and that's really cool. And I do have to do an individual question for you. This is, I believe, your feature debut.
This is my feature debut.
Right, and so I'm all in on you making another movie. Are you writing anything? Like, what are you working on?
So many cool things. Sorry, I said that too loudly.
No, that's great. Alison, please. Yeah. I love that answer. So many cool things. Yeah, there's like 4 things that are ready to go. That I want to dive right into. I want to work with these guys again. I want to, I appreciate the
vote of confidence.
The vote of confidence is what I'm looking for.
I've worked with lots of first-time directors, and he is really special. And from the moment that we finished working with him, I was already texting him saying, "What are we doing next, please?"
Yeah.
We've got some fun ones in the pipeline.
We are talking about things.
Yeah. I could ask you a million more questions, but I've been given the wrap-up signal. Otherwise, I would dig. I love Scott Pilgrim, and I could spend a lot of time talking about it, but that's all I can say for now. For everyone out there watching, at some point, Young Werther will be available for you to see it. Absolutely seek this one out. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.